Hey, there's a light that's on in your drawer here. Oh, the light is automatic! Yes. So here we have my favorite little thing to leave in a drawer, and people go, hey, there's a light on your drawer. No, it's automatic. And it's quick to remind you, sensor here, as if you couldn't tell because there's no other sensor, anything that would censor. But what's funny though is this is really silly. Instead of using a passive infrared motion detector or anything, they use a light sensor. So this thing has to detect a change in light in order for it to turn the light on. So it's sometimes useful in cabinets and drawers, but only if when you open it there's enough light to trip the sensor. And you know, at that point it's easier just to have anything else. This is much better when it's new. This is how the batteries have been after like 6 months of just sitting doing nothing. So pretty impressive. It still works. I mean, the quiescent current must be minuscule. So there's only one screw to get to the battery compartment, but it also means there is a screw to get to the battery compartment. Still got to try out those dollar store screwdriver sets. Anyway, uses 3 AAAs. Look, it's before I switched to completely alkaline only, so here's some super heavy duties. Alright, so now you got the compartment. You can see the sensor connections here. And we can see 2 screws to get us to the board. Kind of springy. Alright. Well, there's a lot. Let me look at my email. Oh, I get emails about copyright claims now? Okay, so there's a little bit more in here than I expected. It looks like we can pop this out. So we can see they've got the little diffuser element. Feels like actually pretty high quality plastic for what it is. Some form of metallized plastic. Let's see, does it measure as resistance? And now that everyone's dogs are alerted. So yes, this cover is conductive. Alright, here's the board. This side is just 3 LEDs. They're the shorter style. A little light sensor. There's an 8-pin unmarked chip, as well as 3 transistors probably. I wonder if there's a transistor per LED. And then, well, without knowing what this 8-pin chip is, I can't quite figure out how it works. But I do know that some combination of this and this transistor is switching on all of the LEDs. And they go through a 27 ohm resistor. There's a little point on here that says test. So maybe I should try testing with it. Other than that, this is just a little plastic cover over a very typical photo sensor thing, photocell, the little LDR thingy that all the cheap stuff uses. Yeah, it's surprisingly complicated for what should ultimately be just, must have to do with the timing, but I still feel like, I don't know why they need an 8-pin chip for. I feel like you could do it all in very simple analog, but who knows? Works pretty well though. Interesting. This is actually the same blue that the case is made out of, and then they put the metal on it because there's nowhere that blue should be reflecting onto it. And you can see that the center stock doesn't go through to the case anywhere because it can't. Now there's so much reflections it can't focus anymore. At least it gets you the color. Triggering now. So we can see on the graph that the test pin changes voltage slightly when it comes on, but basically I wonder if that test point is supposed to just be, and that's battery dropping out when the LEDs are on, is the change. I wonder if that test point is only, if it's high, then it's working. That's probably what it is. So that's an interesting little look at this. Hey look, I found some of the packaging. Here's this part of it. I don't know what it's called, but it doesn't really matter. Comes with an instruction manual. This one's a real manual. Battery installing steps. Unscrew it. Put batteries in. Don't throw the batteries away. Motion sensor activated in low light environments only. Auto off after 30 seconds. Sensor range 60 to 80 centimeters. For closet, cabinet, porch, garage, wall, ceiling, stairs, and pathways. And then there's warnings. So, and then of course your little adhesive square thing that you would put on and stick it somewhere, and with your dollar store batteries have it work for a few months and then immediately die. So that's quality. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe and like and comment and ask questions and everything and more.